Do you absorb stories better on paper or on a screen? A new study suggests physical books might actually give your brain a break. Reading involves a complex series of mental tasks. To do this efficiently, the brain builds an internal mental framework called a story schema, which helps organize characters and timelines. Scientists suspect that physical paper provides reliable sensory anchors, like the thickness of the pages and the fixed location of text. These physical cues help the brain map out the narrative in a physical space. When reading on a digital screen, these sensory anchors are largely absent. To see how these different mediums affect brain activity, researchers conducted an experiment with 25 university students. They used a Japanese manga series where each story is split into two halves, depicting the exact same events from different character perspectives. Participants were randomly assigned to read the first half of a story on either a physical paper book or an electronic tablet. After finishing the first half, the participants entered an MRI scanner. While inside the machine, they wore special digital goggles to read the second half of the story. Finally, they answered multiple-choice questions, including demanding questions that required them to combine details from both halves of the narrative. The researchers found that participants answered the questions with similar accuracy, regardless of the medium they initially used. However, people who read the first half on a tablet took longer to respond to the complex questions. They needed more time to mentally piece together the two halves of the story. The brain scans matched these behavioral differences. When participants read the second half of the story, those who had started on paper showed reduced activity in left-sided brain regions deeply involved in language processing and narrative integration. Lower activity means the brain did not have to work as hard to understand the new information. Because the paper readers had already built a strong mental foundation, integrating the second half required less mental effort. In contrast, tablet readers showed much higher activation in these exact same brain regions. They also showed increased activity in right frontal regions, which act as a supportive neural system during difficult mental tasks, and in areas associated with processing spatial relationships. The tablet readers had to work harder to reconstruct the visual layout in their minds. Learn more about this study and other new research at PsyPost.org.